Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm going to discuss to you things you need to know about the English grammar. Language is an essential part of literacy. Attaining language fluency develops over a long period of time, and until now, even when you are already an adult, language still develops. However, when we say language, language is only a way to communicate, and grammar is part of that. According to Wilcox in 2004, grammar is a system of rules that are being followed by its speakers in order to communicate language meaningfully, properly, and correctly. According to Noam Chomsky's theory of universal grammar, grammar is innate to us, so we are born with knowledge about it only to nurture or develop it with the language we are about to use. Since birth, human beings already have knowledge of what grammar is. At the early stages of language acquisition, grammar awareness is also being developed. And with the guidance of instructors, such as parents and teachers, an expert learner could be developed. This is also similar to the statement of Patrick Hartwell in his journal Grammars and Teaching of Grammar in 1985. He states that grammar is an internalized system that the native speakers of a language share. It is deemed by these linguists that grammar is natural to us, and it is through formal and informal instruction that one learns how to correctly and properly communicate a language, of course, with the guidance of grammar rules. In history, the subject of grammar could be even traced back to Sanskrit, Greek, Latin, and Germanic roots. Some ancient people, including Panini of Indian Sanskrit, the young Shostakovich of the art of grammar, and the linguists such as Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, Franz Boas, Otto Jesperson, and the ever-living Noam Chomsky, wrote books that discuss about language acquisition vis-a-vis grammar awareness. According to John Piaget's cognitive learning theory and Noam Chomsky's child development theory, grammar is learned as a child explores his or her language. In order for a child to develop grammar competency, it is salient for him or her to learn vocabulary words. Vocabulary development is also partnered with phonics and phonemic awareness development. As a child grows and develops his or her faculties, he or she also develops pronunciation of sounds and enunciation of words. At the very early stages of language development, aside from his or her continuous development of oral fluency, a child develops knowledge of the names for people, animals, or objects, known as nouns. As the stage goes up, a child acquires more vocabulary terms which involve verbs and pronouns. Language development and grammar awareness are then developed through instruction once a child enters a school. The more complex aspects of grammar are learned here, such as sentence structures, verb tenses, subject-verb agreement, and many more. If the guided instruction was successful, a child becomes fluent of the language, and more than that, becomes equipped and natural with using the language correctly and properly. Grammar in English has a lot of components, which could be summarized into following. First is the parts of speech. The parts of speech is being discussed ever since the first grade of a student. It involves nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. The tenses of the verbs are also being discussed, such as the simple, perfect, progressive, and perfect progressive tenses. You could also break this down to present, past, and future, with different structures. Subject-verb agreement rule is also one of the major topics in the English grammar. It talks about how the verb should be used whenever a subject is plural or singular. Another topic that could be discussed is the kinds of sentences. There are two kinds of sentences. We have kinds of sentences according to structure and kinds of sentences according to function. In the kinds of structure, we have simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex sentences. In the kinds of function, we have declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory. Direct and indirect speeches are also being discussed, together with the voices of the verb, which involves active voice and the passive voice. Moreover, the verbals, such as gerunds, participles, and infinitives, are also being discussed. Capitalization, punctuation, sentences, phrases, clauses, and the indicative, subjective, and imperative modes are all coverage of the grammar awareness in the English language. According to the latest version of the K-12 curriculum, one of the communicative competencies under the desired outcomes of the curriculum in English is the grammatical or linguistic competence. It involves development of phonological rules, morphological words, syntactic rules, semantic rules, and lexical terms. In teaching grammar to primary pupils, according to Sarah Wernham, it is important to use multisensory approach. In multisensory approach, a child is encouraged to act and to use his or her senses, his body parts, or different actions in order to learn what he or she should learn. So, in teaching the parts of speech to children, you could use a multisensory approach. For example, if you are about to teach a noun to a student, you have to tell him or her to touch a particular part of his body. If I will say, Mama, you should touch your forehead. If I say, Papa, you should also touch your forehead. Mama and Papa are both nouns. Now, if you're going to say a verb, you could ask them to do something else, like shake their hands this way. For example, if I say play, shake your hands. If I say dance, shake your hands again. At this point, the student will be able to distinguish the difference between a noun and a verb using his or her senses. Kids enjoy doing silly actions, but more than that, the essence of knowing the differences among words as regards their parts of speech is retained in the memory. The more senses are used, the more memorable it becomes. Another strategy in teaching grammar to primary pupils, even to intermediate students, is to use a different set of words enclosed in an envelope and ask them as a team to arrange these words into a sentence. By this activity, a student gains knowledge and competency in sentence construction and how to arrange words in a sentence properly and how to attain subject and verb agreement correction. In the intermediate level, one of the problems of the students is how to use words correctly, or the word usage problems. In order to solve this issue, one strategy that could be used is to play Here's What. Here's What is a kind of game wherein the teacher will provide a set of words to the students, and these set of words are words that are almost the same and are usually misused and interchanged with one another. A teacher could prepare an envelope which contains these words that sound and spell alike, and the students could be divided into teams which can play the game. In the game, the students have to choose between the words in the envelope that should fit in correctly to the sentence with a blank. In that sense, the student learns how to use the words correctly and properly. In high school, grammar awareness is already inculcated in writing. That's why it is very important that the high school students are taught how to use grammar properly in a practical manner. For example, you could give them a worksheet which contains grammar errors and ask them to correct these worksheets or to improve the sentences or paragraphs that are written there. At the same time, you could also ask them to pair with each other so that they could work together in order to assess what's